Welcome back to the Lethal Library. Today we are going over part 2 of our motorcycle gang case. We'll be discussing Paradis's trial, Moline's testimony. We're going to find out what really happened to Igor, aka Evans, and of course all of the appeals. So Danny's going to start us off with the trial for Paradis.
In early December, Paradis is on trial. There's a lot of the same testimony as Gibson's trial, but we do have a defense witness.
Oh,
remember Area Beaver?
Yes.
She testified she was with Paradis from 1 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. on June 21st. She said she had
Now she knows the day.
She remembers. Maybe she got those drugs cleared out of her system. She said she had met Paradis at People's Park in Spokane the afternoon before, and that after leaving 3 other people to stay at Paradis's house that morning, he came with her to her house. So
Everyone's popping their pussy at People's Park.
let's go.
This is a happening place.
Fucking wild, dude. Okay, she testified in the Washington trial, but was unsure what day it was with Paradis. Now her memory is clear.
Good.
Another witness for the defense, pathologist Charles P. Larson, testified that the fluid in Kimberly's lungs was in the back, indicating she died on her back. The jury deliberated for 4 hours before they found Paradis guilty of first-degree murder.
They said, yeah, anyway. You're fucking done.
Don't give a fuck. That guy? You know who's missing from both these trials?
What?
Moline.
I've been wondering what's going on.
I feel like I don't think she refused to testify. I just think that,
There was too much shit show happening.
they just were like,
They left themselves at a disadvantage of not being able to offer her anything there.
Mhm.
I feel like they could have picked that up here and been like, listen, how about we just, in Idaho, we'll just say, put you in witness protection or make sure there's no federal charges. I wonder if she was offered anything.
I don't know.
Maybe they felt they had a strong enough case. They were like, yeah, we don't even need Moline. This is too much of a clusterfuck.
I kind of feel like it was more than that. Like, let's not make it mess here. I mean, really? 6 hours?
very
6 hours total jury deliberation. We have 2 death penalties.
Yeah, did it.
But 1982, a few months later, Rosanna Moline decides to tell her story during a hearing for Paradis. Paradis has not, I know it's already in my notes. He has not even been technically convicted. I mean, he's been convicted of the murder, but he hasn't been sentenced.
Mm-hmm.
And they're already trying to get him a new trial.
And so she's coming to his sentencing to say something?
Yeah, Moline. No, not the sentencing. This is a hearing for a new trial, and he hasn't even been sentenced. It hurt my brain. I'm like, wait, did I miss something? No.
Happening.
Moline told Judge Gary Hammond that she did not see Kimberly die. Gibson, quote, picked her up off the ground by the throat, and I heard Kim choke. She made a horrible noise.
This is the death rattle.
And hours later, she saw Gibson attempting sexual intercourse with the motionless Kim on the floor of the Spokane home.
Okay. And so Moline is trying to help who?
Paradis.
Okay, so she's putting...
This is
There's a lot of characters.
This is a hearing for
Okay.
Paradis, trying to get a new trial before he's even sentenced.
Ugh.
She also denied that she was told. So one of the stories that had come about early that was false, and that's why I didn't put it in this. But there was stories circulating that her and Kimberly were put in a room and told to turn the music up really loud while they were beating Scott. So she denied this. She denied that she was told to turn up the stereo in order to drown out the screams of Scott. She was ordered to clean up the blood in the kitchen, and that Paradis, Gibson, Evans, and Amafer were present during Scott's beating. Still missing Igor. She said she had returned to Paradis's house, where she had been staying late June 20th. She found Scott sitting alone in the kitchen. Scott told her to get out, This isn't even Scott's house. It's like, get out of here.
That's just drugs written all over it.
Yeah. She then walked into the adjoined living room. Kimberly was sitting on the couch. A few minutes later, she saw Gibson in the kitchen arguing with Scott. Kim told her, quote, Scott was pretty upset. There were some guns that were missing. He had to come talk to Don Paradis about it. While Moline and Kim were talking, someone shut the door between the living room and the kitchen. And then she heard a loud noise, like something had hit the floor or wall. The stereo was playing, but she could still hear over the music. Gibson then came into the room and told Moline and Kim to go into a bedroom in another part of the house. Kim had made a remark that she'll be glad when this is over, and that if Scott was beat up, she'd take him to the hospital or whatever she had to do.
Listen, I've had a past of my own, and I could see something like this. I've been in situations kind of similar to this, where it's like, oh, someone's getting beat up. They're gonna get beat up, and you're in survival mode. You're just like, okay, what do I need to do to not get the shit beat out of me, and hopefully walk out of here? And
I'll fix him later.
yeah, if we're outnumbered and there's nothing we can do about our stolen guns, then take your licks and we'll get out of here later. I feel like that's how this started.
Yeah. It's weird to me. Mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Moline and Kimberly stayed in the bedroom for hours, talking about things from the Grateful Dead to astrology.
Drugs. That's drugs.
Around 4 a.m., Gibson called from the hallway, quote, Kim, come out and take your old man home now. Kim led the way out of the bedroom, and as she reached the doorway, Gibson grabbed her and choked her. Moline stated she ran outside because she couldn't stand to look. She returned to the house a few hours later to retrieve her money pouch and saw Gibson lying on top of Kim, and she ran out again.
This is all being crack-headedly planned throughout the night. People are like, go. Keep her in here for a minute. Oh, go. Okay, now we're going to bring her out. This is all complete crackheadedness. Like,
Jesus. In April, Paradis is also sentenced to death.
Idaho, they get it done. Yeah, brother.
1984. Paradis is planning to marry Betty Martinson on September 22nd.
Who the fuck is Betty?
I know. But the good old warden Arvon Arave
Arave makes his...
says, no.
Arave is anti-marriage. He's like, you fucks.
Well, once you're convicted, I mean, we went through this with Creech. Mm-hmm. You have no rights. No. Betty was
spiritual partner. That will get you more.
Betty was Paradis' spiritual advisor before becoming his fiancée.
Why
These bitches be thinking they're sneaky. So visitation is now out. Betty Martinson had known Paris since September 83 when she met him through another inmate. Who is introducing people
They
to...
had like a newspaper ads or something. It was basically the TikTok inmate system. Pen pals. Oh my God.
In 1985, Gibson gives a telephone interview to a reporter at the Spokesman Review, confessing he killed Kimberly.
Whoopsie.
Fucking his attorney. So it's like,
all right.
shut the fuck up. He said that Paradis had nothing to do with the murder. He stated, quote, I'm sorry Don is down here. He didn't kill anyone. Gibson is now saying, after Kimberly saw the carnage of Scott's beating, she, quote, blew it. She came out of there and I grabbed her around the throat with this wire. After I pulled her to the floor, I put my fingers on her throat when she was drugged by Evans from the living room to the kitchen. Don showed up later, and she was dead by then for sure.
They brutally fucked him up and her. You're waiting there with a wire. You were never going to let her leave. This was planned.
Don was not there at all. I know that for a fact. I grabbed her. I kicked her. She wasn't moving. When Don came back, quote, he was upset as hell.
Okay, sure. Like,
There's dead bodies in his house.
and this is an hours long undertaking.
Oh, yeah.
It sound- She was in there with hours with.
Till 4:00 in the morning. They left the hotel at 1:45, or they were at the hotel at 1:45. So by the time they got over there, it was probably, let's even just be generous and say 1:30. It took them 45 minutes, which I highly doubt. So several hours.
Yeah, this was all going down in a drug-fueled fuckery.
Almacher Chucker passes
Yeah, the
away in
Chucker.
1985.
From what?
I don't know. I couldn't find it. Sorry.
Gone.
So we're into 1986. On July 21st, Lawrence Evans, AKA Igor, is located in Blue Springs, Missouri when he is finally arrested.
Wow. I'm surprised they ever found him because, like, how? They were able to find everyone else so easily. Igor was out here just
Igor.
gallivanting.
The FBI located him through a pair of speeding citations he had received under his alias, Billy Ray Harkins.
Okay.
The SWAT team rushed the home at 7:30 in the morning. Evans walked out of his garage carrying garden tools when he was captured.
Who has garden tools in their hand at 7:30 a.m.? What the fuck are we doing here?
Who has garden tools when Evans was using crutches? He was not able to run. He had been in a motorcycle wreck that caused the amputation of one of his legs below the knee.
God damn. You're not running from the cops now, are
No.
ya?
No, he wasn't running anywhere. He's going to go do a little gardening. He fights extradition back to Idaho, but finally arrives in November.
Welcome.
Washington has taken a back seat to this because,
Clearly, they're like, Idaho somehow gets it done.
We
And listen, I'm not saying it's right, but Idaho was basically like, we will give you the death penalty for just about
it's going to
anything.
happen.
Like, we're gonna make it happen. Even if it's unconstitutional, we're gonna do it. And we'll pay for it for decades. So they're like, sure, Idaho.
Idaho has charged Evans with first-degree murder, and once again, the death penalty is on the table. 1987, the trial for Evans starts in August. Evans gave his account of the murders.
Let's hear it.
The hat that was found under Kimberly's body was examined. Defense witness, criminologist Carol Murin testified most of the hairs were dissimilar to Evans. Evans says, that's not my hat.
Okay.
Evans even takes the stand in his defense.
Wow.
I just feel like people don't do that as much now. Like,
Oh no.
they were defending to defend. They were going to get up there and say something.
They had to.
And that did not work out well for...
And I feel like people have learned that even if you're innocent, it's
Do not.
not always a good idea unless you can provide something that isn't provided with the evidence. It's all what you say, and what you say
And what
can't
you
be
open
proven.
yeah. What you open yourself up to, too.
Yeah.
He stated, quote, I didn't kill Kimberly Palmer. I didn't intend her or anyone to get killed. He also testified that he did nothing to prevent the murders. He admitted to helping hide the bodies and then was on the run for 6 years. He also said, quote, what I'd done is not do anything, and I've had to live with that. On June 21st, 1980, Evans and Paradis arrived at Paradis's home around 2:30 in the morning. They saw 3 men sitting in the kitchen, Scott, Gibson, and Amacher. Evans knew there had already been a fight because Scott's eyes and lips were beginning to swell. Another fight started, and Paradis told Evans to wait on the porch to make sure no one comes in. You have to remember, at this time, Evans was a prospect for this gypsy joker motorcycle gang.
He's trying to get in.
He's
the
trying to
boys'
get in.
club.
So he's just doing what he's told.
He's like, sure, I'll be the lookout
Yep.
out front. Sure.
An hour later, Evans was called back inside the house and saw Scott bloody, beaten, and most likely dead. He did not see Kimberly, but he knew she was inside. They instructed Evans to leave and get advice from other motorcycle club leaders.
Okay.
When Evans returned to let Paradis know that other leaders did not want to get involved,
They said, "Oh, you've got 2 dead bodies. Why would you tell us that?"
don't know nothing. He saw Gibson in the hallway with his pants down on top of Kimberly's body.
Disgusting.
He said, quote, "I don't know exactly what he was doing. I don't know if he was raping a live or a dead body."
Either way,
Sir.
that's something.
Evans then went to the basement and saw Paradis and Amaker throwing lawn darts at Scott's hanging body.
Oh, so that's how we got there.
Yeah.
Y'all were out of fucking control.
I can't even process this evening. Like,
That is from start to finish? No. Like, how do we get here?
Evans was instructed to help carry the 2 bodies out of the house. One was in a blue sleeping bag, and Gibson carried a red sleeping bag into the van. Evans said he did not know if Kimberly was dead, but believed she was. She was dead. She was. Paradis told him that he was going to have to help get rid of the bodies. Gibson drove Scott's van with Paradis and Evans to the Post Falls area. Gibson grabbed the red sleeping bag and told Evans to drag the blue sleeping bag out of sight, which he did. While
Not well.
No, I just don't. Kimberly ends up outside of the sleeping bag.
And that's suspicious to me because I feel like someone took her out to violate her again, is my thinking. I'll never know, but
While he was moving that sleeping bag, he heard a crash and saw that the van was overturned. They did it on purpose, guys. They tipped over the van on purpose. It didn't stall. It didn't break down.
they wanted it to look like a wreck, like someone gets puncture wounds from lawn darts and
I don't-
flies out of a.
Maybe they thought it was going to roll way far down in a ravine.
They thought that they could, yeah.
Superhuman strength, like Hulk off the side of a mountain. No, bro.
We'll ever find the vehicle that we used to dispose of the bodies, because this was the ex-girlfriends who clearly didn't want the van. They're like, if we just toss everything,
Yeah.
let's go.
The 3 men then walked to Post Falls with their baby gun.
Their little baby gun.
Evans denied he owned the blue hat. The jury deliberated for almost a day and returned the verdict of not guilty.
It must have been very convincing.
In a statement, the jury said that they did not believe Evans was innocent, but they could not find him guilty of committing the crime in Idaho.
Right.
Finally,
That is a tough, when is she dead? And where is she dead? Like,
finally, Evans is extradited to Washington to face charges in Scott's murder.
so they're going to try it again.
Yeah. 1988, Evans' trial for the murder of Scott starts in February. The jury deliberated for 14 hours over 3 days before they found Evans guilty of second-degree murder. He is sentenced to 12 and a half years in prison. Evans will end up spending 10 years.
That's still a very low sentence. I mean,
Yeah.
10 years. And he's had 6 years free. Like,
All right. All right. Let's talk about some of the issues that are being brought up on these appeals.
I'm sure there's going to be appeal.
There's a ton of appeals.
Exponential appeals.
One issue is the testimony of Dr. Brady. He conducted the autopsies on Scott and Kimberly. He testified in Gibson and Paradis' trial. He said he believed Kimberly was alive when she arrived in Idaho. Dr. Brady also said Kimberly had water in her lungs from the creek where she was found. He said the ligature mark on Kimberly's neck was from her necklace and was not fatal, and that it wasn't by a piece of heavy wire. What was glossed over at trial was a tear wound on Kimberly's near her crotch area. It was inflicted after Kimberly died because it did not bleed at all. Remember we were just talking about getting out of the sleeping bag?
Yeah.
Pictures also showed Kimberly had blood on her left nostril and ear, even though her head had been submerged in the water. Despite this, Dr. Brady testified in 1981 that Kimberly died in the creek after being strangled and had been tossed alive into the creek where she inhaled some creek water. Several years after the trial, Dr. Brady was investigated. He was placed on administrative leave for selling body parts to other laboratories.
What in the literal hell? What?
You should see my face when I'm researching this shit. He collected money from these body parts to buy new lab equipment for the Oregon office. No criminal charges were brought because there is no evidence Brady profited personally. He did end up suing for wrongful termination.
You're selling people's body parts. I don't care if it's for lab equipment for the greater. You're like, I'm buying lab equipment for an underprivileged school, whatever the fuck.
I'm going to take your grandmother's...
You cannot do that. This is why, like, when you get your license, they ask if you want to donate your organs. And dead bodies have rights. People can't take your organs, even if someone is in desperate need of it. If you've said no, they cannot take it. If you want to do it, you certainly can. You cannot be selling people's organs. Where are you finding buyers? You fucking weirdo.
From other labs.
Other labs, or is it fucking weird people? Who knows? Who are you selling them to?
Possibly.
Some weirdo that wants like a fucking amputated leg or something?
Oh, I can't. Okay.
Sorry, that's wild to me.
One lab assistant said, when Brady learned a defense-appointed pathologist would review his autopsy work, Brady reopened the body and mutilated several internal organs.
Okay, so now you're like, oh, I'm being investigated. I better fuck this up? Like, what?
Yeah. No, he's like, fuck these people. I am right. And so I'm going to just make it so they can't say anything.
Second opinion. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Brady, you sound like a shitty person, dude.
In the Paradis trial, Dr. Brady said fluid found in Kimberly's lungs showed she aspirated in the creek. But in the later Evans trial, he said that it was just as likely she did not aspirate in any creek water. Make up your fucking mind, dude.
Brady,
her lungs, while heavy, was still within normal range. There was no work done to prove that she had any creek organisms in her lungs, so no tests were run. He also testified in the Evans trial that it was possible Kimberly had died before Scott.
So once again, Idaho, overzealous and ready to do it with.
What attorneys are not checking on his previous testimony?
Or bringing in their own experts.
We're going to get to that. Ooh. While testifying in the Gibson and Paradis trial, he said Scott had died way before Kimberly. And so he's just all over the place. This was brought about because of some color photos of the autopsy. These photos were not produced until after the original trial and only came up in one of the appeals.
They were just hanging out somewhere and were never included.
Black and whites are fine.
Cool. That's great. This is the 80s. Like, color photos are a thing.
No, they did the whole trial with black and white photos.
What the fuck are we even doing here? Like, there is so much fuckery going on that I don't even know what to write down. Like, everything's fucked.
Everything's fucked. That's what Steph's writing in her notebook.
I'm gonna write it.
And then also in these appeals, we have Paradis's attorney, Bill Brown. Poor Bill. He was a police officer for 20 years and then went back to college to get his law degree. He was so new as an attorney that he hadn't even argued a speeding ticket in front of a judge.
And he went for a first-degree murder?
AIDS? Well, you know, they probably had 2 fucking attorneys in that county. So
they're like, he's what we got.
So we are jumping up a bit. We are in 1996. Paradis gets a hearing in front of the Idaho Commission on Pardon and Paroles. fucking blows my mind, by the way. Fuck court. We're just going to go to pardons and paroles.
Is this like a special thing, like clemency type?
Yeah.
You want to put your name?
He still has appeals in, though. Like, let's just skip all that.
Let's just let's do everything. I mean, sure.
He is looking for them to commute his death sentence to life in prison. 4 medical pathologists testify that Kimberly did not die in Idaho. Utah Chief Medical Examiner Todd Gray stated, quote, "We found it very disturbing that Mr. Paradis was convicted on such speculative and frankly incorrect evidence."
Okay.
Fuck you, Brady. He caused a lot of these problems.
Well, and listen, even if I'm totally acknowledging that she may or may not have died in Idaho, but when these 4 pathologists or experts, without the body there, what do you have to go off?
So one of the biggest things, there's more to come, by the way. But one of the biggest things is the cut that was on her labia that they found. She had her jeans on, but there was no blood on her jeans from that cut, which means it happened.
She was dead.
She was dead when that happened. So that's a big chunk. But you're going to hear a little
terrible, like, no matter who's guilty, innocent, or whatever, like, this whole night of fucking terror, and especially for her, and to, like, it's sickening.
It really is. We're going to hear a little bit more about some of that stuff later on. Gibson also testifies for Paradis. Gibson started off by immediately declaring his dislike for Paradis. He's like, I don't like this guy, but I'm going to tell you the truth. Maybe. And then he said, I don't know. I don't know what to believe from this guy. But he said that Paradis did not kill Kimberly. Gibson said he might have killed her, but did not take clear responsibility for it. Quote, "It was wrong what happened for Mr. Paradis to be executed for something he didn't do, wasn't involved in, would be wrong again. I've made enough wrong decisions in my life. I don't expect forgiveness, and I don't forgive myself." The State Commission on Pardons and Paroles recommended that Governor Phil Batt commute Paradis' sentence. It is a rare recommendation decided on a 3-2 vote. The governor has 30 days to decide. Deputy Attorney General Lynn Thomas said, quote, "I find it inconceivable that the work of 8 courts spanning 15 years could be set aside on the basis of 6 hours worth of testimony not subject to cross-examination." Fair.
That is fair, because, I mean, there's been hundreds of hours outside of this, and now we're going to take this 6 hours to provide clemency or commute
a sentence. So,
good point.
On May 25th, Governor Batt says there are too many doubts to justify Paradis' execution and commuted his sentence to life in prison. And of course, all of the federal appeals regarding the death sentence are dropped because it's no longer a death penalty case.
No death penalty. Sure.
So, yeah, just like that. 1998. Guess who's getting married?
Gibson? No, he's already married.
Paradis and Vanessa Sanford get married in the visitation room at the Idaho State Correctional Institution.
Aw.
Yeah.
How very romantic.
I'm sure they met. She was probably a spiritual advisor. I'm not for sure.
You spiritual women out here, love ya, but why are we picking up men in the prisons? Stop, please.
Also in 1998, Gibson has his conviction overturned by a federal judge.
Okay.
The opinion of the court was ineffective counsel. Gibson's attorney, Mike Vrabel, failed to adequately refute the state's medical expert, Brady. Idaho's ordered to either release Gibson or retry him. In 1999, Paradis gets hearing for a new trial. So not only was he commuted from the death penalty to life, he's also getting a new trial.
Getting to restart to even basically determine his guilt.
Okay. In August of 99, the prosecution offers a deal for Gibson. In exchange for an Alford plea for the murder of Kimberly, Gibson will only have 41 more months to spend in prison.
You know what? I think that people need to talk about the Alford plea a little bit more, just in general, because I think it's a genuine plea. And with this and how messy it is, it's basically saying, I'm not admitting guilt, but with everything that's against me, I wouldn't be able to fight this. There's no way for me to prove my
I can't defend it.
There's no way for me to create a reasonable doubt. And the Alford plea is, I'm not trying to praise them, but I think this is a good strategy because it's like instead of him pleading guilty, if they're willing to just do this, sure. Like, I can see why this was the strategy.
Yeah, I agree.
No, the Alford plea is like, there are situations where you don't have anything that can go on your side, and you're like,
every time I hear the Alford plea, I just think of the staircase.
The staircase trial. Yeah, that's an interesting one.
I still don't know how I know. Well,
I know how I feel about it too, but I can see, I'm surprised it isn't used more.
I think also that the standard is, they're just pleading that so they don't have to admit it's so much. I think it's deeper than that. I bet
there's people who are innocent who have used the Alford plea where they're like, this is my last, sure, put me in jail. I didn't do it.
Fine, I'll do 15 years even though I didn't do it. Not the case. And this, of course, with this particular trial.
Yeah, Alford plea is interesting.
In 2000, a federal judge clears the way for a new trial or release of Paradis. Notes from Prosecutor Hawes were never disclosed to the defense. His notes showed doubt in Brady's testimony. His notes said that Brady could not determine the time of death and that Kimberly was not sexually assaulted as claimed, and probably was dead when her body was dumped in Idaho. That's what the prosecutor had in his notes, but then Brady testified completely different.
And has flip-flopped
all over the place
and been selling body parts. So your actual character comes into play in that. If you're willing to sell people's body parts, if you're doing that type of shady shit, your credibility is gone. I'm sorry. And he should have been disbarred and gotten the fuck out because disgusting.
On April 10th, 2001, after 21 years in prison, Paradis pleads to a lesser charge and is free after making a deal with authorities. He pleads guilty to being an accessory to murder for helping dump Kimberly's body. The maximum sentence for that crime is 5 years. Also later that year, in November, Paradis is seeking $20 million from the state of Idaho and Kootenai County. Which, if I was wrongfully convicted and spent 21 years in prison, this was his whole thing. He never had the chance to build a career. I mean, yeah, there's lots of things that he missed out on, but 20 million is a lot of money.
20 million is a lot of money. And here's my thing is all of this could have been avoided. I feel like they tried to keep that bad boy loyalty for way too long. Paradis, if you would have just flipped, if you truly didn't murder or rape a dead body or whatever, if you were the one that you just happen to be there and you're like, shit, I get it. If someone's murdered someone else in the same house as you, and then you're in this biker gang mentality, and they say, we got to get rid of this body, you can't be a tattletale right then. You can't be like, guys, this is wrong. We got to call the police. You can't leave then. I can understand the dynamics of that. But to then tell your story and plead out early. Tell them all the information they need to know. And you could plead out and get 5-10 years.
Yes, but I don't think that was ever an option for him, honestly. Do you remember Rice from that last case,
The tattletale.
yeah. That's exactly what he did. And he ended up spending more time than the people that freaking murdered
Right.
people. So this was a witch hunt.
It is what it is.
By the prosecution. They wanted it all.
Mm-hmm.
They were not, I mean, first of
And
all,
they were stretching the truth.
for the Spokane prosecutors to have that trial altogether, you would never see that today. Ever, 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 ever. It's just created.
It's so fast. Y'all didn't even try to put your case together.
No.
You guys fucked it up.
And
This is why all this has happened decades later.
Yep. Decades later. In 2002, the very end of 2002, December 31st, Gibson, at age 51, is released after 22 years in prison. All done. In 2006, in a settlement with Kootenai County, they agreed to pay Paradis $900,000 for wrongful imprisonment.
What was he asking for? 20 million?
Yeah. And it was like he got like 50 grand right away, and then it was like payments
Settlement, like
for so many years. It was like $3,500 a month.
I have a structured settlement and I need cash now.
Oh,
Call JG Wentworth 877 cash now.
Sponsor us.
JG. We love your shit, dude.
So, but the fuckery doesn't stop.
God, I cannot believe there's more.
So, well, these guys are both out of prison, right? But I'm just telling you, this is their mentality, okay? And I don't know. Okay. In 2011,
Oh God.
6-year-old Gibson is arrested in California during a sweep at the Vagos Motorcycle Club. Drugs, weapons, and body armor were seized during the raid. He is charged with possessing the marijuana and participating in a criminal street gang. I couldn't figure out. There was nothing in the papers what happened to that. But he's like,
He should have just ran for office. Truly.
no, he went back to his gang. Old Chief's at it.
He's like, I'm the chief.
Let's get her done.
Jack.
So anyway, I had to include that because it's like, dude, seriously?
Calm down.
You're 60
After
years old.
doing that many years in prison,
You're 60 years
I
old.
would be retiring and learning to crochet.
Yes.
Find a hobby, bro.
My activities are
Remote control cars.
stained glass
planes.
and coloring with gel pens. So we're going to jet up to 2018
Okay.
because you thought the fuckery was done.
It just keeps going.
At age 69, Paradis is back in court. In September 2017, Paradis and a friend, Richard Myers, got into a heated argument in Paradis's home. Richard had been living with the Paradises at the time. During the argument, Richard kicked one of Paradis's dogs and screamed at Paradis and the dog. Totally
Don't
dumb.
be kicking someone's dog.
Do not be kicking somebody's dog.
People will be. Listen.
Paradis told Richard he needed to sober up and leave. Paradis then left to the gym, and when he arrived back home 2 hours later, Richard was still there, not taking the hint.
Yikes.
Richard basically said, I'm not leaving.
Knowing that someone, no matter what actually happened, knowing this story, and that regardless, everyone was guilty of some fuckery that night, whether it's not saying anything or actually killing someone or beating the shit out of someone or raping a dead body. Knowing that someone had been involved in that, I don't care how long ago it is, that says to someone's character, maybe if you kicked their dog and they said you better get the fuck out of there, I'd be like, you know what?
I should probably leave.
I'm going to sleep in my car tonight, or I'm going to find a Motel 6. Richard, what did you do? You stayed there.
I'm not leaving.
I have tenants' rights.
Paradis then shoved a gun in the back of drunk Richard's neck. Richard was not injured, though. Paradis's attorney, Bill Mock, said it was a pistol that fires BBs and pellets.
I'm sorry. I don't want to be shot in the head with a BB.
I know, but drunk Richard should have not kicked the fucking dog.
Don't be kicking the dog, and don't be shooting BBs at people like...
And if you're a drunkard staying at somebody's house, I'm not defending this guy, it sounds like him, but if you're a drunkard at somebody's house and they tell you to leave,
Just go.
just go.
You gotta go.
Bro, go get a fucking job.
Kicked his dog.
Dude, do not kick my... I'd throw down.
I know you, and I would too.
A pre-sentencing investigator recommended probation for Paradis. Idaho prosecutors recommended 15 years.
Oh, that's quite the range.
Paradis pleads guilty to aggravated assault and the use of a firearm during a commission of a crime, and he is sentenced to 15 years with 3 years fixed.
That's wild to me. 15 years and no one was actually injured?
It was a BB gun. Not that they can't injure you, but Jesus, it was a BB gun. And also, he's a 69-year-old. He's an old man.
Well, and
they kicked his... my dad would fucking throw down if somebody kicked his... He gets his feelings hurt if I make fun of his dog.
He's like, I might bring out a gun, Danny. You make fun of Rusty one more time.
He's like, that's my boy. I'm like, well, your boy's fat, Dad.
He said, what? Somebody give me my pistol.
But currently, you know that 3 years fixed? This is in 2018. Currently, Paradis is 75 and still in custody at the Idaho State Correctional Institution Medical Annex.
I'm sorry, but with viewing everything separately, like I've said, there was fuckery. I think everyone that was involved in this whole night was guilty of stuff. But for him to be exonerated and then get 15 years when no one was even injured, like, so a lot of people don't understand, like, if you brandish a firearm, that's a big thing. If you brandish a firearm and there is no, like, fear for your life, like a road rage incident, if you, like, pull a gun on someone when after you're already safe, like, say you're in your neighborhood and you pull a gun, they can take all your guns. You can be on probation or parole for a long time.
It's a felony.
So yes, I would understand probation / parole, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Maybe a year of jail time, less.
And he's an old man.
Who was hurt?
The dog.
Where's the justice for Fido here?
I'm just saying, if somebody kicked my fucking dog, it would go down. I just thought it was a little overkill.
So this is the most recent updates we've got on this one.
Yeah.
Anyway, what a wild ride, don't you guys think? Thank you, Dani, let me just tell you guys the amount of research that this took Dani to even put together.
It hurt me.
You guys heard how much of a shit show it was, right?
It hurt me deep inside.
But she fucking soldiered through. So thank you, Dani. I hope you guys enjoyed.
I hope that I told you a complete story. And if you
have questions,
please reach out.
Dani's the pro.
I would love to address them because I probably know it in my brain. It just might not have made it on.
Well, and there's
on
some
paper.
things that are just unknown. The victims, there was nothing
I found
to find for
death
the
notices.
victims.
And we're at a certain level of paying for paywalls. And I'm sure that there is more research that I could have found through court systems and all that stuff, but it's
Buying
money.
transcripts is extremely expensive.
So I'm depending on newspaper.
Idaho Statesman, get us through.
I did find that there are several 60 Minutes did a thing on Paradis's trial. 60 Minutes too, by the way. Didn't even know that was a thing. Unable to locate the
Floating
video
out there somewhere.
The New Yorker did a huge article on it, which I decided not to read because it's a 13,000 word article.
Big old
And
bitch.
I found that very late in my research. And so I chose not to read that, but that is available too. But then there's just, so you get stuff like that. And then there's nothing on these
If you
victims.
guys read that stuff and find contesting info, we're interested in it.
I will
Like,
apologize like a motherfucker.
we're not reporting the news. We're reporting on what we found. Like, this is how we put it together.
Motorcycle gangs. And I'm telling you, those
Creech wishes that he would.
I know.
He's like, man.
You know, they're all in prison together, and Creech is like, God, bro, I wish I could be just like you when
He's
I
like,
grow up.
I was in 17 gangs all across the United States. And they're like, no, we heard about you, you
Gibson?
fucking poser ass bitch.
I'm Mr. Nationwide. And Gibson's like, really? Nah.
You don't have any idea, bro.
None.
Anyway, another great episode. Thank you, Dani. I know how much work this one was. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram. Our TikTok is up. We hope you love it.
We hope TikTok stays. We would love to get to the point where we could do a live. So
invite your friends to follow, repost our
Yes.
stuff. We just need, how many is it? 500 followers?
that's what I've heard.
We're 111 followers. Thank you to each and every one of y'all that have followed us. We're so stoked about that.
So we're like 20% there.
Yes, we can do it.
We can do it.
Teamwork,
We
folks.
would love to do a live. That would be awesome.
For any questions, comments, concerns, you can email thelethalibrary.com or just comment on our post. Risa, we see you. This episode, unfortunately for you, was over the top with the language.
Our apologies, Risa.
Apologies again. We're trying. I don't know if we'll ever meet your standard, but we love you, Risa. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Love you. Bye. 10-4, rubber ducky.
Fuck yeah.